good morning. Welcome to QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back again on another edition of your favorite morning program. To bring you the latest the happenings, from around the world. If you're just tuning in, thank you very much to all our viewers that follow us on our channel and our social media handles as well. I am with Julde Njai. Good morning, Julde. How are you?
Good morning, Ibrahim. Good morning to our viewers from wherever you're watching us from. It's always good to be back. And good morning to my grandfather.
Oh, he's your grandfather today or now?
Just good morning to my grandfather.
Okay, he've now acquired the criteria of a grandfather.
Right.
How do you know that she was referring to me?
Well, I didn't even mention names. I just say he. You know, whoever the cap fits, let him wear it.
Seems like it fits perfectly well.
Yeah, thank you.
So what makes you think you're a grandfather? Or you don't think you're a grandfather?
Well, technically, I can be. I'm of an age, and my son's age, I could be a grandfather.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just that in reality, I'm not. But I could be.
Mm-hmm. Technically, you
I
can
could be, yeah, but I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Exactly. So, Mr. Boyd, are you looking forward to, playing with your grandchildren?
Oh, big time. I love that.
Seeing your grandkids. Have nothing Yaha city.
No, what does Yaha mean? You don't do that. You don't Yaha.
No, when I say Yaha,
I know exactly what
you mean. You know what I mean
in
a literal
sense. So now we get language, but we take it aside. It's not very helpful. You know what I mean? It's not a helpful language, so I just don't use it.
Because I can see most grandparents don't want their grandchildren to be treated otherwise. I can remember when I was growing as a kid, my dad was so hard on me. He doesn't allow me to do certain things. He doesn't allow me, to be much free to an extent. But now, if I am to control my kids, my dad will be like, sometimes allow the kids to be free. And I'll be like, Dad, you don't allow me to be free when I was young. So it's not very fair.
There's something you've missed there, and I always tell you guys. I tell you that I am the father up there in the office, and Ade is the granddad. See, Ade is more tolerant. Fathers are really very strict for good reason. You know what I mean? But then grandparents, whatever, can be soft. By then they had learned so much. They had brought up their kids. So now they know a thing or two that perhaps they didn't know before.
Right.
I think that's the transition. I was brought up by a grandmother, but she was so strict. I was what we used to call O-speaking. You can tell, in the two words what it really means.
Yeah.
We didn't go out, had to help in the house, chores. So it was really very strict, and I am like that. It's very strange. I'm a disciplinarian, just as I've come from that disciplinarian background.
Exactly. Julde, grandparents love. I am pretty sure you've experienced it.
Yes, I have. In fact, I am a very good friend of my grandfather, but now he's no more, he's late. I used to disturb him a lot. I'm not really fond of my grandmother, but for my grandfather, yes. We are best of friends.
That's an interesting one there.
Yeah, for some reason. My mother's mother, like in my maternal side, I'm not really fond of her. But for my grandfather, like my paternal side, wow, we were very good friends. We were very good friends.
Yes.
So yeah, it happens. The reason why, because you feel that joy, to be a grandparent, seeing your because this is something that it's sort of a privilege that not a lot of people have the opportunity to be grandparents or to witness and then to see your grandchildren. This is especially now with this lifespan that we have, 60, 70, and you kick the bucket, But yeah, it's really nice. Sometimes
it's a massive improvement. Go back 50 years and see what was the life expectancy.
Right.
Now I think we've gone to what, 63, 65. We've gone to that now.
Right.
So it's been a massive improvement, really, historically. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends on, you
Though
know,
we
how
have a
you're
long
brought
way
up.
to go, of course.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Good.
like Mr. Mboj Numko here, it depends on the environment, how you're brought up as an individual, and then that goes to translate to how you're going to actually, you know, contribute towards the life of your grandchildren. Come, if you feel like, sometimes even me, my dad is really harsh on me, but my sisters, my younger sisters, I mean, he's really soft. I will like, how is this possible? But I think that, you know, as you go, as you age, you
Yeah.
have more experience and all of that, and then you realize that discipline, to discipline a child doesn't require you to beat them or to be harsh on them or to be hard on them. You know, I think that is what, you know, parents actually learn once they grow older and older. They realize that, this is not the new norm. It's not the new way of, you know, to discipline a child. And I think that's important.
And you know that those who are born earlier, I'm like my father's side, I'm first. You see, in Wolof they say they tauda for toy. Then afterwards I thought, of course, dinner toy. Inanko sonal be.
Wow.
Hang on, the parents, you know, they're quite young themselves, so
Yeah.
everybody's learning. So they're like guinea pigs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then afterwards, when the second comes along, you know, maybe 2-3 years later, when you're playing whatever toy you have, the second one will want it, and they'll tell you, "Abalko sarakala, abalko sarakala."
Wow.
So in the end,
Wow, it happened.
that one controls
Wow.
everything.
Yo yaay rakabi.
They do not know psychologically what it's
Wow.
doing
The
to you.
impact.
Wow, yo yaay mag bi. Even
Danga
so
wara muñ suñ la tooñee sa danga wara
waaw
muñ.
ndeysaan sa aleel sax
Yeah.
raka bi jël ko soo xëccoo pour jël ko ñu ne yow mag nga
Thank
bàyyi
you.
ko
Bàyyi ko. So my two, similar age, I rectify that. You want something? Manela, wait. Do you want to give it to him? So mana yes, mana
Yeah.
yes. So mana no, mana ko no. So now, you see, because I've realized that in my own upbringing, mana no for em. Do jala muk.
No, that's right. I mean,
So you have to
because
think about these
Wow,
things.
you have
I
to
mean,
know
they
when
are
to
all
tackle
kids.
it.
They are all kids. For the
Absolutely.
fact that mom do hamne, amut that mindset to hamne. Okay, ki man ma ko mak. So momo, when it comes to stuff, momo ko wara choose and all of that. Momo magana neka hale. Because at that level, nyom yep ay hale lañ. Amut that
Absolutely.
maturity put you muna think
Absolutely.
beyond,
Wow.
you know, the box. So I
Exactly.
think it's important too. Come num ko wahe. That's right. I mean, you raise a very important point
Man
there.
ma ko they put in place.
Right.
The younger one will come and ask me, let's do bum bum bum. Manako, what does your brother think? Go and discuss it with him.
So xam nga-
so ku nekk mang la
Waaw,
tag sa
gis
place
nga
nga xam the nature,
waaw.
you have to consult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Waaw loolu
You
la
have to.
gis nga xale bu nekka at some point dang dee foog ne yow yaa fa nekka because time boobu level of thinking boobu nga am man am na yoo xam ne defoon naa ko time yi xale léegi laa ko dee xalaat ma xam ne this was very dangerous understand nga di éeg ay guy understand nga dem ba si kaw xam nga loolu yëpp mënoon naa daanu ma dama so da ngaa gis ne xale thinking capacity bi dafa need koo xam ne is mature enough to help propel that individual to another level so we definitely need to be by the side of our kids all the time pour ñu
And
coach
knowing
them.
what to do. xam nga léegi li gars yi day wax ne the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Xam nga knowing what to do moo taxoon maa ngi like nga yaaxa ko because of the associations. Xam nga because then empower ma ko pour self-reliance. And that's really what the job is of a parent really. maa ngi laa jéem a jox the tools pour self-reliance nga mun a dem earn your keep. So am na a certain confidence moo war a build in you. The psychological bit, that's the difficult bit. The academic stuff, to my mind, that's the easy bit. You can be so smart, but parang nga dem nekk a useless person. Because yeneen skills you do good. So one must really have that trying for academic excellence. A character.
Wow, xam nga dafa different.
Dafa
You
am
can be
solo.
intelligent and you be a fool
That's
as
it,
well.
that's it. Hindamuloo
But you can
confidence,
be.
there are so many
You
things
might
that
not
can
be
go
very
wrong.
intelligent,
Yeah.
but you will
But-
be able to handle your business.
You
Wow,
see,
you know.
we see that all the time. So you when you're ignoring the soft skills, you ignore them at
Yeah.
your peril. That's very, very risky.
True. Yeah, so be reminded you are watching QTV this morning, and I am Ibrahim Abalde. On the platform, I'm with Julden Jai and Mr. Momodu Mboj as our newspaper review guest. So, Julde, we head to the proverb.
So, our proverb this morning is a Swahili one.
Swahili?
Yeah.
Swahili, is it from South Africa?
Well, Kenya.
So
they speak around Swahili. East Africa, they speak Swahili. All of them, Tanzania, all that region, they all speak Swahili.
It's like wall of Senegal, Gambia.
Yeah, it's sort of lingua franca. Yeah, it's a combination of local and Arabic. Really, Swahili is Arabic
lingua
franca and local.
Yeah.
Really.
Right. So the proverb reads, if you have no happiness at home, you will not find it abroad.
You were just talking about home.
Yes.
Quite interesting there.
It is. If you're not taught equality, equity, and all of that, hamlo, the difference, and I grow up and then you think it's normal.
Absolutely.
You know. But you go first.
If you have no happiness at home, you will not find it abroad. Absolutely. And here I see home as even the self, the individual self. If I'm not content within, really, it doesn't matter where I go. I will take that discontentment with me. You know what I mean? So it's extraordinary, and it is so true. Everything really, true happiness is really within you or your loved ones, with your loved ones at home, literally. And that's it. If it is not there, if there's a problem there, when you move away from it, you haven't left the problem behind. I think that's what it is telling us. Your problems will always follow you where you go.
So let us try to define what happiness is.
Oh, that's a difficult word.
What happiness means from the house, you know, from the home.
Right.
What type of happiness are you yearning for? I mean, sometimes, I mean, you can live with your loved ones, you know, be it your wife or your parents or even relatives. But what type of happiness are you looking at from different categories or different people, Mr. Mboj? What's
Oh, that's a difficult one, because even with the word happiness, with its suggestion of sort of being in favorable circumstances, in much more than contentment over a sustained period. Are you a happy person? It's over a sustained period. Whereas when I contrast it with something like joy, with that, I have it for a moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? But happiness is a more general frame, statement about your life, generally, isn't it? I do not know what that means. At each point, certain things will not go right. You know what I mean? So I don't look for happiness. I don't even know what it is. I just look for little joys you have in life, because so much can go wrong. In my view of things, I sort of hope for the best, but I also prepare for the worst. Just the thinking of preparing for the worst will just dampen everything. So I don't go for happiness. I don't know what it is. I have to be honest with you. It's a very strange term.
The people can be totally different. You know, there are people that, you know, even a small thing can snatch away their happiness. Small thing, you know, can get them into a state of emotional, drain their emotions in such a way they will feel very bad. At some point, they won't feel comfortable within that environment. So it depends on the individual as well and how you handle certain emotions when they arise.
But you have to build into whatever system you have this idea that in life you're bound to have lots of issues as you go along. These what they call the ordinary privations of life. You know what I mean? You're bound to have that. So in whatever schema, in whatever constitutes your happiness, I do not know, how would it accommodate these occasional disappointments? The occasional moments of sadness, be it grief or failure or whatever, you know how life can be. So whatever conception of happiness I have, it must be able to accommodate these things. The messiness is quite messy in many areas. So this is it. You cannot escape them. You know what I mean?
No.
So what do you do about that? some sociologists think that in the West now, they've sort of medicalized, as it were, every little issue that people have that ordinarily you're bound to have them, but they've now medicalized everything. You have to take lots of drugs. You can take that route. A lot of people do. Or maybe one could be more philosophical about it, trying to come to your terms, understanding, changing, and these things work as well. You know, the internal thing, when you work on it a bit, you'll begin to see that the external changes as well. It's amazing.
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing how.
So Julia, what about you? What's your interpretation?
Mr. Butch actually said a lot. So my interpretation, I think, is similar to Mr. Mbuji's. You have to be content with what you have. I mean, happiness is contentment. You know, if you look at it, because you can't be really happy if you're not content with what you have, your situation, your family, things that you can't really change. Be content with them. Find happiness in the small things that you have, and I think that is very, very important. There is this saying that you can't give what you don't have. You can't give love if you don't know what love is, if you don't have it within. You can't give happiness if you don't know what happiness is. You know, so I think it's these small things like Mr. Mbuj said, they're very, very important. We underrate some of these things, and we underrate what happiness is. For others, they think, okay, happiness means having, you know, your fancy cars,
whatever
you
desire.
house. Yeah, it's linked to material stuff. But for others, it's just having that lovely family, that peace of mind. You have, you know, food on the table, and that's it. You're healthy. That's what happiness means to other people. So come no go ahead. Happiness can be relative. Your happiness, what makes you happy, it's different from what makes me happy. So I think it's all about finding your own space, you know, to be able to strike a balance as to when to actually, you know, be nervous and when not to be. We have seen a lot of depression cases now. We do stuff. We depressed because of we are thinking about a lot of things that are even beyond us. You know, control the controllable, and leave the rest to God. You know, do the job, work hard. You know, exercise, eat healthy, but the rest of it really, you just let it go. You can't really force
we just mentioned about material stuff, and I think we can even turn this around to mean that what is within you at home and what is abroad, all these material things, you don't own them. They are like the abroad. You know what I mean? You don't own them. You know, you can lose them tomorrow, or when you die, you leave them here. Stuff like that. So that's what it is. If I'm really not happy, content within, give me all the cars, give me everything, give me the most beautiful wife, I still wouldn't be happy.
I still wouldn't.
That is really the secret. That's exactly, that's the secret of this this thing. You can even reduce it to that level. All these material possessions, really, they're not going to give you happiness if within you, really, you are not content. If within you, you have troubling issues that you haven't resolved, the thing outside will not give it to you. I think that's really the key to this program.
There was a time I discussed with a young guy, I mean, and he said to me, the reason why I'm so stressed is I want to travel and I cannot travel. You understand? And it's getting into his head now, and it's frustrating him. Most of his colleagues left this country, and now that is really affecting him. I was like, bro, man, things he do, you know, things are living, you understand? But I realized that, I mean, probably he did not put one and one together, I mean, to be able to put his life together. Because at some point, I mean, you don't have the opportunity to travel, but you have the opportunity to do other things.
Yes, with him, for me, my first question will be, why do you want to travel? What's pushing you away?
Greener pasture.
Well, be careful with that. It could be deeper than that. It could be the character. This is what this proverb is saying. Maybe there's an unresolved issue there that's pushing you away. Go to Spain, go to Italy if you don't be careful, that unresolved thing could come there and spoil it for
that
you.
issue-
We've seen so many
that
people
issue
go
can-
to the
Yeah.
West,
Mr.
and you're not doing much.
Yeah.
Something
Mr.
within
Boyd,
you. There's something
that
within
issue
you.
can
You can't
be
do it.
it can vary. It can be different from person to person. Some of them it's marginalization, like you are marginalized at some point in the society or within your family. At some point nobody acknowledge what you do as an individual. So these are factors that can push an individual to embark onto certain things.
Big time.
Yeah.
But this proverb is telling you that to find self-validation from within,
It's important.
if you do not get that, the outside cannot give it to you.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're listening. You have to listen to this proverb
Right.
very well,
Right.
really.
Right.
It takes it back to the self, self-validation, genuine happiness,
Yeah.
genuine character, really,
Character.
stems from you.
Yeah.
Outside can be anyhow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people can praise you, others come and be
But
so
how
nasty
many
to you.
how many individuals do you think can discover that sense of happiness starts within the individual? How many people can discover that?
Oh my God, I used to hang out in a group. My thoughts, my ideas, very common. It depends. You have different levels of what we call self-awareness. I'm not surprised. A lot of philosophers say that self-awareness is the foundation of all knowledge.
Right.
Really, how can you sort of self-detach, self-distancing, for you to study yourself honestly and perhaps say that, oh, I am lacking in this, I'm lacking in that.
It's
How do I
important.
feel it?
Yeah.
So self-awareness is really very important. It can never be absolute,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Some philosophers call consciousness as sort
Yeah.
of controlled hallucination. There's always an aspect that is more idealized selves of ourselves. So
Right.
it's not the
Right.
complete truth.
Right.
There's
Right.
some fantasy in there. But in the main, this is why people achieve. In the main, you can do things. You know,
Yeah.
you can have a better concept of yourself
Self.
from learning about yourself. You
Self, that's
discover
right.
yourself in action, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
I
don't
think
invent yourself, you
we-
discover it.
That's right. I think Mr. Mbojlum trying to where it's that, I mean, we can achieve a lot if only we focus on ourselves instead of
it.
other people.
Absolutely.
But reverse is the case. Because most times we tend to focus on what other people are having, you know,
Oh,
how
what
much
are
they
you
are
saying?
doing,
That's
the
it.
travels that they're doing. But again, you know, do you look at yourself? There are certain things, you know, if you look at yourself critically, you analyze yourself and you're not biased, you tend to realize that you have a lot more than you even know.
Possibly, exactly.
You know, maybe someone that travel, in this case your friend, the person is here and you know he has his friends that are, you know, that have traveled abroad, but again he has his family with him. Maybe he has a home, maybe he has a stable job, maybe he is healthy. Who knows what those friends are going through abroad.
Yeah.
So some of these things I think it's very, very important. Do they even
You
have
do
a
not
place
know,
to stay
yes.
in?
Yeah.
You know, so these are some of the things to actually look at and to be content with what you have. It's only by looking at yourself, knowing what you have and making the best use of it.
Yes,
But
well,
oftentimes we focus on Mr. Mbojlum,
What-
Mr.
what
Mboj
is-
for more than Mr. Mbojlum more drive. Do you even know how Mr. Mboj got that?
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
even know?
Yes.
So sometimes it's good to be content with what you have. Find happiness within, you know, within your own means, and then that's it. Life becomes beautiful.
Well, I don't know, maybe it becomes tolerable. I do not know what to call it, because I think with human beings, it's sort of like suffering like bad day in many ways. And there will always be something that will upset your happiness.
Right.
Sadness is sort of embroidered into the story.
It is.
Happiness and sadness, isn't it? This binary,
Yeah.
you know, that's what you face all the time.
Right.
So nakalai accommodate these aspects into my worldview, even the sensibility. How do I cultivate certain qualities?
Right.
So you try to understand what's going on, then how do you adapt You see, so not screaming at the world, you are doing this to me, you are doing that to me, you will do it back a day. The world will never change to suit you. You adapt to suit the world. So.
Yeah, so viewers, you are watching QTV this morning, and we've already dealt with the proverb, and it took us almost
around the world,
quarter of the program. Now we'll move straight to. Oh, should we take a short break?
Right.
Yeah, let's take a short break. After the break, then we review some of the papers. We'll be back.
Money arti webi na fitora gol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi kiw money a wawa wadde piji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa e hendade mbuuɗi maɗin e o kiw money app kesson a wawa e nattinde mbuuɗi ma ɗum yaltina soda crédit soda kiw paɓa soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ina wawi kadi nuldude kiw money yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuuɗi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuuɗi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka play store ma ɗum ka app store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu kiw money customer care e 133 kiw money suñu kalpe minen udditi laawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki.
We are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. Send your messages on our social media handles, and we will read it out on air. I mean, Julia, let's move on. Yes.
To the newspaper segment, we have Foroya, Standard and The Point. The major headline on the Foroya newspaper is Parliament rejects 2024 draft constitution in second major blow into reform agenda. I think 35,
21, yes.
21, no, it's 35.
5, 4.
And 21
against, that's it. But they needed 44.
Right.
75%. They call it the supermajority.
Right.
Nope, they didn't get it.
So unfortunate. After 116 million was spent, to go around the country, the Constitutional Review Commission, and everything. Apparently, this is the end of the road for the constitution building process of the Gambia for now.
Yes. And you know, throughout the activities of the CRC, the Constitutional Review Commission, going around all over the world, as it were, there was something that we missed in all of that. We had not realized that afterwards, whatever document they prepared was going to go through the National Assembly.
Exactly.
We didn't think that really, nobody discussed it. And the possibility of these things, what's happening right now, happening, was there. So in many ways, we got our eye off the ball. Maybe then we could have discussed, okay, after these people come with their document, do we go straight to the people? Referendum.
Right.
Yes. But we missed that part, really. So now, yes, this is going to be a long one. Dead again. In fact, what UDP called it, Barros Constitution, the 2024 one, revised one. They wanted to reinstate the 2021, and there was really no chance for that. It had already failed the first time round. So now what next?
Well,
that is the question.
I think it's a lot of wastage. I mean, although anything you do for country, I mean, it's for the greater good. I mean, at some point, the intention was to get a new constitution for the Gambia, because we are relying on the 1997 constitution on most of the things that we do. So probably it would have,
with all its flaws.
With all its flaws. So you know, relying on that at times, you can see some abnormalities, things that are not properly put together. You know.
Let's put it this way, The reason why we want another constitution is that we are not satisfied with the 1997 constitution. So now where do we find ourselves? We are still being governed by a document that we are not satisfied with.
We are not satisfied with.
That is the bottom line.
When we change to democracy, I mean, I think it would have been important for the constitution to change, I mean, to suit what democracy is. I think that would have have solved.
But that's actually what we are doing. This is what democracy looks like in practice. You know what I mean? We had decided to form that CRC. They had gone round, they came with a document, so we've taken it to Parliament. Parliament is very much a democratic institution. And they voted, and this is what they've decided. This is really what democracy looks like. It's a messy business.
But it can be really crazy sometimes.
It is.
Look, boy, when the US voted in Donald Trump, the whole world turned around and said, what are you people okay? This is what democracy looks like.
Right.
What do you think it is? That it will give you the right answers?
It doesn't always.
It's a process.
Right.
What does that mean? It's a process.
Right.
It's just a process. It's neutral. It doesn't have any morality at all. You know what I mean? It's just a process. What you put in, what you get.
Absolutely. Well, that's
So we will keep on going. We'll see what next. Are we going to start amending clauses we do not like? Are we going to go back to new consultations, or are we going to form a constitutional review commission? What are we going to do? Nobody has said anything. It's a bit too early, obviously. So in the next coming days, perhaps weeks, I don't know, months, we'll know.
And the
have an idea.
The adjustments that were made in 2024. I mean, yet still. Some of those adjustments, according to some oppositions, it favors President Adama Barrow, not the Gambia.
Such as, I know that with the term limit, they want to go back for it to 2017, isn't it? So something like that. UDP, I think that was their position. That's interesting. I didn't know. Nobody would sort of do that. I doubt it. It doesn't favor the president to do that, so, and his party, obviously, so I cannot see that really happening. How do you negotiate these things? Maybe for this one, because it is the foundational, we're doing things for the future. I don't need to go back to 2017. You need not be retrospective like that. I will just leave it as it is. We'll start whenever it comes into being. You know what I mean? We ratify it. So it begins from there. We don't want anything retroactive. The first one may perhaps get away with things that I don't want. But from there on, it's not going to happen. All beginnings are messy. You cannot have a perfectly fit beginnings. It has never existed anywhere. Things begin sort of in kind of skeletal form. Most things you see today really accumulated the character or whatever over time.
Right.
So if you want a neat beginning, it's not going to happen. So we have to be mature here politically. Stop playing party politics. Let's play politics with capital P. You know what I mean? High politics. Not the party, not the small P one. And we are at a juncture where we need maturity, deep historical thought to really deal with
political
this. We're just delaying it.
But looking at our political environment, I haven't seen any political maturity here. I mean, even some of the people that you believed these are the mature politicians. At some point, you can realize the type of approach they do. I mean, you feel disappointed at some point.
So, you know, for me,
okay, go on.
For me, I think we're just focusing on the present and not the future.
Yes.
Because this is more or less about Barrow, UDP versus NPP.
Yes.
And, you know, I think it's unfortunate that we allowed ourselves for, you know, two political parties to actually decide on our destiny, which is unfortunate. Barrow, it's the president, but, you know, he will obviously he will go out, you know, in 10, 15, 20 years, who knows, you know, but one day Barrow will not be president here. So I think these are some of the things that we should really critically look at and analyze. And UDP is here, but again, someone will come to be president one day. So I think it's been politicized. It's a national document. It's supposed to be a national document. But again, instead of being a national document, it was politicized to an extent that it was categorized as Barrow's constitution versus UDP's constitution, the 2020 and the 2024 draft. Something that should have been a national document. So I think it's really unfortunate that, you know, we really, the constitutional, you know, building process of the Gambia has to end this way. I mean, we really wanted better, we deserve better, and I think, you know, if we had only looked at these things holistically, we would have, who knows, we would have, you know, gained some achievements. But it's unfortunate that this is where we are. In 2025, we are talking about term limits. They're important. We are talking about the powers of the president. You know, in democracy, I think that should be a welcome idea. You know, there should be some sort of checks and balances. You can't really have the president to serve as a monarch, sort of. You know, there should be limitations to whatever that happens. There should be accountability. There should be transparency. To some extent, in a democratic space, that is what is expected. But again, instead of looking at all those things, the pros and the cons, we just decided to just look at one thing or individual.
Two things there for me. The two-party dominance, one doesn't mind that at all. I wish that we had only two parties, sort of ideologically different, you know what I mean. I wouldn't mind that at all. So this so-called politicization, you cannot avoid it. It's a very political thing. Constitutions are very political. I think perhaps what you can use, another word you can use, is a kind of personalized politics. I will use personalized there, Barrow's constitution, see there's a name given there. So yes, personalized politics, yes, where there's an ideological vacuum, then personality politics sort of will come to the fore. This is what we are seeing, this is what we are. And the politics of personalities, let us be honest, since Adara's time, it's always been like this. Really, the politics of personalities. How does that kind of politics sort of mature into a politics of ideologies? Maybe that's a much longer journey, but this is how things are right now. We are doing this politics of personality.
All right, we need to move on. We have another paper that is saying Mama can declares the air. I mean, it is.
Was the air thick?
Yes.
So
thick with what?
There has been rumors that last week
exactly
that Mama Kande will be the next vice president.
Yes,
oh, I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, he clears the air.
I don't know what.
Well, we should have delved into the newspaper more to know what exactly he said. I mean, but unfortunately, we won't be able to do that. But it's good that he cleared the air, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, the reality have been established already.
When he cleared the air, what could people see?
They will see him.
So let's wait until we see what it is.
Absolutely.
What the clear air reveals. Anyway.
Exactly. So, Mr. Momodu Mboj, I think we've already exhausted the newspaper review time.
Oh, have we?
And
yes,
well,
there's just
like
really
the
one
African
story.
proverb has taken all our time.
That was one bit, but really today there's only one story. Isn't it?
We already have our guest in the studios getting ready for the third segment of this program. So it would be important for us to give way, please.
Yes, and I have other stuff to do as well.
Exactly. So viewers will be right back after the commercial break.
Taking a break isn't about stopping. It's about recharging for the next stage. Welcome to our oasis.
Powered by Africa, Oris Energies.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy Q Power, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send Q Money, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. Q Money, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Q Money imurundana ne koteke anila ni mobile app sone yaringo alanna yata ndu ise kuol bekeno ibeda woda wati ise munafano ila kodola anin Q Money la ni mobile app kuto ise kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde ise credit ko sanno ye Q power sang ye fengol sang ndu fanan ise mol jono anin ku jamalu ise Q Money kino yela bilol jo ndu fanan bantala banko se kodo kiyeno ise kodo fanan kino do kotenge kurke munafanyina a download sign Play Store anin App Store ni laftaka Serengo sotoje Q Money customer care kumandi 133 Q Money suñu kalpe ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma Q Money delsina ak sen mobile app bu bes bi orna gawna te yit mun nga ko jëfande ko pour def ci lo bëgga fo mun di ne watu bu ne mun nga jot sa xaliss ak Q Money mobile app bu bes bi mun nga dugal xaliss génné xaliss jënd ci crédit jënd ci Q power jënd lo bëgga ak yu bari mun nga ci yone Q Money fay sa bill si jot xaalis bitim réew yónnee xaalis ci noo ko bëggee looy def yombana downloadal app bi léegi ca Play Store bu dul loolu App Store pour nga door pour am si lu leer koolal Q Money customer care si 133 Q Money suñu kalpe ñoo xaali yoon wi ñeneen toppa
Qcell mooy suñu boss Qcell mooy suñu boss Qcell mooy suñu boss Soro go ebe dawa full network suuta tili Qcell ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata Qcell most reliable network dumala keta wati Qcell wo quality man nyon soto jam ona manke Qcell hani be wuloni farole kono walante be bakono jala fayola network ko se taria Qcell suñu boss ñu fi njëkka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G 5G first and only 5G provider suñu boss itela follow adi doron nesa keno Gambia bela nyon tawo fele Qcell ko fasunta buka busi Qcell itela molti milka kukutol nati Gambia Qcell meta lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itela ka quality dila dadi ma itele silo wala wodol mume be keno ma Qcell suñu boss Qcell suñu boss Qcell suñu boss Qcell suñu boss connection be bambandi Qcell suñu boss Qcell most innovative Qcell suñu boss
Thank you very much. You were watching QTV this morning, and I am Ibrahim Balde. From the newspaper review, the African Code. Now we move to the third segment of this program, Victim Center, train staff on the African Union Transitional Justice Policy and government-wide paper on TRRC records. And we have Keba Jom, National Coordinator of the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violation. And of course, we have Lamin C, Program Officer and Focal Person. It's important for us to discuss, this training and also highlight on the government white paper as well, Julde.
Right.
So we have two gentlemen in the studio and we are about to take off.
Right. So good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to QTV this morning program.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
I will start with you, Mr. Jom. Take us through the objectives of this training and what do you really seek to achieve?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning, viewers, wherever you're watching from. We are glad to be here, to be invited to this breakfast show, talk about the Victim Center, as well as talk about the project that has just kicked off, which is a project on popularization of the AUTJ policies. So actually, maybe later on we can talk about the project. But the training that we concluded on Thursday was a 3-day training for the staff of the Victim Center, and this included focal persons from the regions. Altogether, the target was to train about 22 staff
on the AUTJ policies as well as the government white paper. So the main objective of the training was to build the capacities of the staff to an extent that they are able to send or relay messages or sensitize the general public on the African Union transitional justice policies as well as the government white paper. That was the main objective. And we believe it has been achieved because the training was so focused and we had very good trainers in the persons of Imran Dabo, Lamin Sanyang, and Basiru Ba from the National Human Rights Commission. The training was so intensive and definitely at the end of the day, participants expressed delight and satisfaction in the capacity, the type of information that has been relayed, and all were boasting that yes, we can do it. Because what at the end of the day, after we are also supposed to train stakeholders for 2 days. Then after that, we'll be going around in a musical caravan to sensitize about. We'll be visiting about 100 communities in the 5 regions of West Coast, LRR, North Bank, CRR, URR, and the others. So we'll be visiting about 20 communities in each of these regions. And it's going to be in the form of a musical caravan. And already we've engaged Bright Stars. They're going to compose a song on the AUTJ policies. And they'll be doing live performances during the caravan show. In every community, there will be live performance. Then we'll engage the community, talk to them about the AUTJ policies and the government-wide people as well.
Okay.
So I think let me stop there.
Yeah, Lamin will take us through the project, the thematic objectives of the project.
Yeah, exactly. So, good morning, everyone. We are delightful to be here in this morning show. It's a wonderful show. Thank you for inviting us once again.
You're welcome.
Overall, just like my boss said, the overall objective of the project is to capacitize the staffs. And when we say the staffs, we mean the admin staff at the secretariat and the focal persons, throughout the regions, because we have focal persons representative all over the regions. It was a wonderful training, and then the overall project, like I said earlier on, is to provide like a comprehensive overview of the transitional justice in Africa, and as well to familiarize the government white paper and the TJ processes within the victim communities, because the overall beneficiaries of this project are supposed to be at the local level. This has to do with the victims, the victim communities. So basically, that is among the main objectives why we embarked on this important project, that is the AUTJP project, and we are looking forward to making it a successful one, and then going forward. Anyway.
What is the timeline of the project and who funded it?
It is funded by the AU, the EU, specifically AU, I would say, and then African Transitional Justice Legacy Fund. They are located in Ghana. And then the timeline of the project is 12 months. It started in April, so basically it will end in April 2026 of next year. So that's basically the timeline.
So let's talk about what is this policy. Yeah, we want to understand what this policy is, and we'll give that to Keba John.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. The African Union started discussions around transitional justice way back in 2009. So again in 2011 they had discussions when the Darfur AU mission started. So they came up with an idea of why can't we develop a policy that will encompass transitional justice as well as non-traditional judicial justice and the like. So this brought about the idea of formulating the AUTJP, and in 2019 it was officialized and launched. And the purpose, the main aim is to ensure that all member states of the AU are conversant or are brave afraid with the policy. It's a policy that requires intensive consultations because it requires a lot of sensitization as well because it's a new thing. For most Gambians, if you ask them about this AUTJP, most Gambians will not be able to tell you much about it, except for the few elites who are lucky to attend some trainings on it. So this is why the AUTJP has been launched, and as part of it, this is why the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations developed a project proposal aimed at popularizing the AUTJP in the Gambia.
Yeah. So how does this policy relate to the Gambia's transitional justice?
Actually, if transitional justice many countries in Africa had gone through transitional justice, like in South Africa, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, and the others. So for the Gambia, usually the transitional justice is focused on dealing with the past, especially violations. So for most other countries, it was conflict. But for the case of the Gambia, it was a dictatorship. During the reign of Yahya Jammeh from July 22nd, 1994 to January 2017, a lot of human rights abuses and violations happened in this country, and this is why they set up the TRRC. So for the Gambia, the TRRC is a model of transitional justice. Because the aim of the TRRC, we all know, was to investigate human rights violations, at the same time address issues like reparations and reconciliation. So the TRRC was a model, and it has been very, very successful. We've seen it, and through their investigations, they investigated about 2,600 cases, and at the end of the day, they gave out reparations to about 1,009 victims, which is tremendous. And also the issue of taking care of the victims, especially their welfare, medical welfare and the like. Even though the Victim Center, we have a medical support that we are providing to the victims, but nonetheless, government also has established a medical board through the Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Health. They came together with the medical board at the RVTH. It was Francis Small Teaching Hospital. So we have a medical board that sits every Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, they'll be sitting and they'll be seeing 5 victims of human rights violations. So all this is part of the TJ processes, and there are other areas like the constitutional review. We've seen what happened yesterday. Before that, we've seen what happened in the previous constitution that was tabled. So all this is part of just to ensure that the never again mantra of the TRRC is achieved, so that what we went through from 1994 to 2017 will never happen in this country again. So constitutional, institutional reforms like civil service reforms, reforms of the civil security sector reforms, all these are part of the transitional justice mechanism.
So if I get you right, you are saying that we are on the right path as far as Gambia's transitional justice process is concerned.
Yes.
How would you rate it then, in that case, considering all that you mentioned and the implementation of the government white paper?
Thank you very much for that important question. I think that's the area that, yes, we are doing well, but we could have done better. Because the TRRC recommendations, out of 265 recommendations, 263 was accepted by the government, and the government white paper was developed alongside an implementation plan for a 5-year implementation plan. But if you look at the implementation, the pace it is taking, it is very, very slow. Because up to December last year, out of the 263 recommendations that were accepted, only 16 were fully implemented. So 16 out of 263.
That is as of December of 2024.
Only 16 out of the 263 were fully implemented. That's about 6% or so. So about 192 were initiated, and 55 were yet to be started or initiated. So it's like, it's very, very slow. For the victims, we feel the process could have been faster. Because if you look at simple recommendations like the renaming of the arch 22 to a victim memorial arch, we feel it could have taken a very, very short period, short time to rename it. But if you look at the budget that has been attached to the renaming, it's about $200,000. It's a lot of money. So we don't know for what reasons they put that big budget.
Just to name it.
Just to rename the arch. So yes, because the purpose of the renaming the arch is to have inscript all the names of the victims there, so that for the future generation, anyone who goes to the arch, after 10, 15, 20 years, you can know these people were the victims of human rights violations during the Jammeh era. We feel that could have happened very simply. And the issue of declaring April 10th and 11th as school holidays, I don't think that should take much time. There are so many others that could not be implemented on time. And we believe there are factors, and we're trying to engage government to see how we can push the implementation of the TRRC recommendations. Then the other area that we are not doing well is in the area of reparations. Compensation to the victims. About 1,009 were eligible for victims were eligible for reparations, according to the TRRC report. But out of this 1,009, those whose amount were about less than 200 people, the amount for reparations was about 50,000 and below. So they were given a one-off check. So we had 575 people who were given advances of 19%. This was way back in October 2021. So where are we now? We are in
since
July
then nothing has been done about
those
that.
balances, still nothing has been paid.
Since 2021?
Since 2021.
They are still pending.
And the promise was, when they were being given these checks, they were given a small note, a receipt, that this is how much you received, and this is the balance. But you will get it in the next 3 months. The promise was next 3 months. It should have happened early part of 2022.
But are you making follow-ups?
Of course. We are engaging
How often?
government.
How often?
Every now and then. Every now and then. It's ongoing. It's non-stop. Because we have the National Human Rights Commission. And we also have more following Minister of Justice. But the mere fact that the establishment of the Reparations Commission took this long, it was on the 11th of April this year that they were sworn in. So they are supposed to be in place since 2022, because that is the body that is supposed to take care of the balances of the victims and also continue investigating and documenting cases of human rights violations. Because there are so many victims who were reluctant to register. Still now, even yesterday, we had 2 people who came to register. Because there was this fear factor among victims, especially in areas where they are, like the Funis, where Jammeh came from. Because what they think is, what if I register and Jammeh comes back? How will I be labeled in my community if I register? And the worst part of it is most victims are being discriminated against for going to TRRC. Why? Family members are rejecting their own family members simply because of they've been to TRRC. Family members are still rejecting family members because they were labeled as witch hunt victims. So this impact is still there, is in our communities. Some communities, okay. I talk too much.
No, it's okay. It's all okay. I mean, that's the reason why you're here in the first place.
The details matters.
Yeah, it is important. Do you want to add on to that before I ask the next question?
Yeah, so basically, he have touched on most of the areas.
Okay.
But the one part that I would like to get into a little bit is the lateness of the reparation for the victims, because as he said, these reparations were supposed to be given to the victims 2-3 years back. I am unfortunate to be a victim myself. I was part of the people that were given that small percentage, and then we are promised to be given the rest of the percentage, like he clearly stated in 3 months period. But then, here we are. It has taken the longest time, and the reality is not all the victims can wait for the reparation. Although the good news is the Reparation Commission has been established. That is a good news for the victims. But then again, there are still some complications in regards to that establishments, because assurance are yet to be given on when and how these reparations are going to be given. We are hopeful as victims community, but then this is just the situation on the ground on that regards.
But how about the justice bit? I hear reparations, separations. It's important, but how about justice? How far have you gone with regard to ensuring that these victims have the needed justice they deserve?
Yeah, actually, the Minister of Justice is doing very well. And, you know, according to the TRRC recommendation, there was a list of about 70 perpetrators who are supposed to be prosecuted. And this includes the former president, the former vice president, the junta members, and the junglers, and all those who were adversely mentioned by the TRRC. So right now, the Minister of Justice is in the process of establishing a special accountability mechanism whereby they'll have a special prosecutor's office that is going to be responsible for the prosecution of those perpetrators. So right now, they are doing the adverts for the positions of investigators and so forth, who are going to man that unit. So that unit, once established, will start the prosecutions. So we hope very soon. But what we tell victims, it may take time, because dealing prosecutions take a lot of time. Courts, we've seen what happened in court cases like the NIA 9. We see in the Yankoba case, it took a long period than expected. So for 70 people to be prosecuted, it may take some time. So, but we hope it is going to happen. And also some of our laws has been amended, because things like enforced disappearance, torture, we are not punishable in our current constitution, but they've been amended. So that we can prosecute people based on who perpetrated, based on whether torture or enforced disappearance. They can all be prosecuted here.
Thank you very much. We've
it's
adjusted the time. Yes, thank you.
I just wanted to know, like,
can we conclude?
Yes, quickly. We've already adjusted the whole time.
Just to conclude, maybe we should have given an overview of the Victim Center, who we are. The Victim Center was established way back in 2017, immediately Ajame left the source of the country. And some victims came together with the idea that why can't we form a group so that we can fight our cases for justice together. This brought about the idea, and later on it was registered as a fully recognized civil society organization. So we've been existing since 2017 to date. The services that we provide to victims are many, but the key ones are medical support, psychosocial support, and educational support to children of victims. So we are there, but I want to mention that we are yet to receive any support from the government. All that we are doing is develop proposals that through those proposals we are able to reach out to the victims, pay our salaries, pay our rent, and so forth. So we are appealing to the government to at least chip in to support the victims.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keba.
Will I be given a little chance to get onto my project?
We have already adjusted the time.
All right.
Yes, boy, quickly.
Yeah, quickly. Since I'm the focal person of this particular project, that is the AUTGA project, so I would just like to delve into some of the work plans that we have already been set up. And part of it is summarizing the document, the policy document, because it's a bulky document that has already been summarized. It has also been translated to like the 4 local languages, because the majority of the beneficiaries are the local people. So we did make sure like the translation is done in the local languages. We will also be having like a caravan, a musical caravan, making sure we get to like every corner of this country as well to popularize this document and the government white paper as well. So these are some of the activities that we have on plan. We are also working on a capacity building. We are about to conduct a capacity building training for the policymakers, that's the National Assembly members, and as well as together with the stakeholders as well, which will include the CSOs, the journalists. All the.
I was about to ask, how about the media?
The media too, yeah.
But I'm glad you mentioned that.
Of course.
They are part of that training.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jomba and Mr. C, for coming on the program. And we hope and pray there will be a positive outcome very soon for the Victim Center.
Nice.
I mean, these are, this is a center that really needs help. All hands should be on deck. I mean, they've gone through a lot. We have seen the revolutions on the TRRC.
Yes.
So leaving them behind or trying not to pay attention to what they need, it's definitely going to be chaotic. Yes. So on that note, we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll talk to Pama Kan, Communication Director, IEC. We'll be back.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi kiwmoni a wawa wadde piiji ɗin fof kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa e hendade mbuuɗi maɗin e o kiwmoni apke song a wawa e nattinde mbuuɗi ma ɗum yaltina soda crédit soda kiw paaba soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ina wawi kadi nuldude kiwmoni yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuuɗi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuuɗi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka play store ma ɗum ka app store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu kiwmoni customer care e 133 kiwmoni suñu kalpe minen udditi lawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki.
Taking a break isn't about stopping. It's about recharging for the next stage. Welcome to our oasis.
Powered by Africa, Oris Energies.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy Q Power, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
kiwmoni e murundana nekkoteke anilañi mobile app sone yaringo alanna yata ndum e se kuwol bekeno ibe dawoda wati wati e se munafanno ila kodola anin kiwmoni la ñim mobile app kuto e se kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde e se credit ko sanno ye kiw power sang.
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now, let's move to the head of, to the last segment of this program. And IEC validates 2025-2029 strategic plan. And we have Pama Kan, Communications Director, Independent Electoral Commission. Pama Kan, why haven't you president who talk it? You know, they regular affair, mutok.
Wow.
Wa president su joge yena ko de joglo I mean yen am ngeen doole de IEC is very powerful.
No, IEC amul si dara ñom luñ si am da mo nek rek ñu sani paré ñu compter. So for now Gambian si ñu amé doole bi. Waaw moy elected the Gambian voters. ñom ñoo dé joxe ñoy wax kan mo wara tok wala kan modul tok. Wow.
All right, so it's important for us to discuss this important topic. What is the plan for 2025 and 2029 strategic plan about? What is this about?
Yes, it's very important. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. This is about strategic planning, and you know, like any organization, I think you have to have a plan in place that would guide your activities for a period of time. So we already have the 2020 to 2024 strategic plan, which elapsed last year, December. So that being the case, there is the need for her to have a new one in place. That is the strategic plan of 2025 to 2029, which is a 5-year period. So this plan lays out various activities for the Commission so that the Commission can be guided so that it can implement these activities that it thought are of high priority to it, and then it will do its best, of course, with the support of the stakeholders to make sure that all these activities are achieved by the end of the 2029 period, which is, of course, within the next electoral cycle.
Okay. 2029. 2026, 7, 8, 9. It's like there is going to be an election in between. 2026, it's election, so we're heading to 2029.
Yes, very well. And you know, like in elections, it's about an electoral process. Huh? It's no more like an event base. Having elections, you pack and go. No, it's a process. It continues to evolve for the whole 5-year period and beyond. So as we know, 2026 we'll be having major activities in terms of electoral activities. And then we'll also be having other activities like in 2027. Of course, just to say that this would, of course, be a shorter electoral cycle. Because we have the electoral cycle in which period we implement the major activities like elections and even voter registration. So 2026, we're looking out to roll out a voter registration and also to conduct a presidential election, which would be sometime in December 2026. And once this is concluded, in 2027, then we start implementing the National Assembly elections. And of course, there will be some little bit changes here and there, because normally we should have been conducting the local government elections in 2028. But now things have been revised, backwards, based on a court ruling, of course, that now local government elections will be conducted every 4 years instead of every 5 years. So maybe this is a difference in this electoral cycle, that this will be a shorter cycle starting in 2026 and then ending in 2027, in which period we will be having the registration, of course, a supplementary registration. Then we will also have the presidential election, the National Assembly, and local government elections within the same period.
I know that there must have been gaps in the previous electoral cycle. So what are some of these gaps, and how does this new strategic plan aims to address some of the weaknesses and gaps in the previous cycle?
Yes, I know the previous electoral cycle registered resounding successes in terms of its implementation, starting from the voter registration in 2021, in which I think a lot of Gambians have been registered, have been duly registered actually. I think about more than 900,000 voters have been registered during this period. Then also we had other major activities, including the 2021 presidential election, which was followed by the National Assembly elections of 2022, and then local government elections in 2023, which were both for the mayoral or chairmanship and then the councillorship elections. So I think that cycle registered a lot of successes. Of course, maybe some few gaps in terms of capacity, but of course this new strategic plan will be looking into these areas so that such gaps can be filled. Actually, I know there was a high benchmark, I would say, in the past cycle. So this gives us more pressure to make sure that we keep the standard, making sure that the upcoming electoral cycle is also very successful, and also we keep to the benchmarks, making them very high actually.
So can you take us through the stakeholder consultation process? Who was consulted, and how was these consultations, how are they integrated into the plan?
And who was present during
Yes,
this?
very important. You know, this is a document created by IEC, but not for IEC actually, because it's for all the stakeholders in the electoral process. Because at IEC we have this adage that elections is a business for all. Everyone is interested or everyone is affected, by elections. So everybody is a stakeholder. So we all have a business in elections. So in this process, various stakeholders were also invited in this process, making sure that we have, they look at it, giving it a third eye, as some partners would say. And this includes the media, of course, which was present, of course, through the GPU, the Gambia Press Union. And we also had the political parties, which are one of our key stakeholders in this process. And they were represented through the Inter-Party Committee, that's the IPC. And we also have the CSOs, the civil society organizations, which also were represented through Tango. Tango is a non-governmental organization. And we also have the police, the Gambia Police Force. And of course, we have through the office of the police, IEC Police Liaison Office. So I think we have various stakeholders that came together, you know, to critically look at this document and then to get it validated, making sure that it reflects, you know, the aspirations of all the stakeholders in elections going forward the next 5 years, from 2025 to 2029.
So how will the plan improve elections in the Gambia?
Yes.
Are we going to use paper ballots?
Transparency,
Not at all, not at all.
Yeah.
And you know, we've been in this process, the legal reform, that is making necessary amendments, you know, to get the laws at par and to get the laws more relevant and making them more up to date. Of course, this process has been going on and is still continuing. And of course, I know elections, there is one very important thing, it is based on law. So this is why, of course, we are always concerned with the laws that we use in terms of elections management. And again, the improvements, as I mentioned, there were very high benchmarks. Huh? So I think we cannot do anything but to maintain those benchmarks and then to even improve upon them by increasing the level of participation by all and sundry, and also making sure that the elections, they are even more transparent. Because at IEC, I think we always take pride that our elections are one of the most inclusive and one of the most transparent elections, not only in Africa, but across the world. So I think the facts are available for us to see. So I think these are some of the areas that we think we would really try to improve, making sure that we deliver very credible, transparent, and also very peaceful elections for Gambians, which would, of course, be really inclusive by as many people as possible.
So, what challenges, I mean, does this address?
Yeah, the challenges, I know, like, a system is never perfect, so we continue to grapple with challenges and also to see how best to surmount those challenges. And of course, one of the challenges I know is funding. Of course, some will always agree funding is never sufficient, but I think these are some of the challenges. And also in terms of capacity building. Of course, they will also be as a trainer, you will also say training is never sufficient. So, but these are going to be the things that we think we will be improving. And then these challenges also coming up with these issues, I think, would also be the main focus or the main priorities of this strategic plan. Making sure that the necessary improvements are done in terms of capacity building, both infrastructurally and also in terms of personnel development. So I think these are some of the key areas that we may want to highlight. And again, just to also highlight that in terms of capacity, institutional capacity, there have been some progress, I would say, from the last electoral cycle to this one. This culminates with the opening of 2 new units in the IEC. And you know, after elections, every elections, we have these stakeholder reports, especially from the observers, that they will do some recommendations. And as a commission, we try to implement some of those recommendations. And among which was the setting up of a legal unit, which is up and running right now at the IEC. And we also have a gender and PW unit, which is also up and running. So I think these are some of the improvements that are done. And again, not only that, initially in the last electoral cycle, we had 7 offices across the country. Like in this administrative area, we had 1 regional office, and now we're adding this to 10. So instead of 7 now, we'll be having up to 10 regional offices, out of which 9 of them are up and running, and there is only 1 left. And we hope by the 3rd quarter of this year, this office will be opened. Of course, these new offices, in addition to the ones in the regions, in Banjul, Kanifing, Brikama, Mansa Konko, Janjambure, Kerewan, and Basse, we also opened other offices, like one in Yarambamba. Yarambamba would also be a part of the West Coast region. So it means that West Coast region will be already have gotten another extra office at Yarambamba, added to the one in Brikama. And we hope to open a 3rd one for the West Coast region in Sibanor to serve the Fonyi catchment area. because we thought West Coast is, I think, one of the largest areas in the country right now, and with also the highest amount of population. So we thought it's best that we can serve the people better by bringing services closer to them. Because if we have Brikama office can serve the Combo Central and South, then the other member can serve the Combo North previously, and now is the Sane Mentoring, the Old Yundums. And then the Simano office would be serving the Fonyi area. So I think these are all geared towards making sure that electoral services are more accessible to Gambians.
Your demarcations are very confusing. I mean, you know, the Sane Mentoring, the Brikama, the Fonyi. Well, how do you people determine that? It's very confusing sometimes.
Yes, I would say not confusing, actually. Because, you know, we have electoral boundaries. These are just for purposes of elections. And they do not hinge in any way on the local administrative boundaries, which are, of course, very contentious at times. So we try to avoid that as much as possible. So the IEC demarcations are based on, are just used for electoral purposes. So then we used to have various constituencies. For example, the Combo North, we may know, was one of the biggest constituencies in the Gambia, which was demarcated. And the demarcation, I will tell you, is very controversial because, in principle, the best way to demarcate is to have as equal number of votes in every constituency. But this is a big challenge for us. So that's why the maybe the best compromise was leave the smaller ones as they are, like the Banjuls, the Fonyis, the Janjamburis, leave them as they are, and then try to break up the bigger areas, like the Combo North before, which have been divided into 2 or 3 other constituencies. And I think this would be the compromise we'll be using. Because I know previously there was a time that there was a demarcation done by the IEC based on electoral principles, which of course may not be applicable, which or people may not accept. Like in which case Banjul was streamlined instead of 3 into 2 constituencies. The Fonyis were compressed into 1 or 2 constituencies. The Jara and Kiang were merged in some areas. So this didn't go well with people. So then we thought, okay, now we have to do a compromise. Then by instead of using it in principle to ensure that constituencies are equal as possible, but we try to downsize the bigger ones and then let the smaller ones as they are, like the Janjamburis, being a very small constituency. So I think that was the compromise.
I wanted to ask, okay, Julie, go ahead.
In terms of misinformation and fake news, I know leading up to the electoral cycle, we have a lot of cases of that nature. What is the communications department doing to ensure that data could down? Yes, that's, I think, one of our biggest challenges. And these have been ongoing, and we have to continue grappling with it. Because the new media, I would say, the social media, comes with a lot of benefits, but also at the same time, it has a lot of hazards as well, among which is the fake news. So as a commission and as a department, as of course my department, we try to use various means of communication and channels in which we try to respond to relevant issues. Of course, we don't want to we don't want to react to every single issue. So we try to react to critical issues, fake news, and then we try to debunk this on using various platforms. We have the IEC website, which I think is up and running, and again, which is also a very verified source of information to the public. And again, we also use other social media platforms, the Facebook, the WhatsApp. We have a very vibrant WhatsApp platform that we share a lot of information with the stakeholders.
Thank you, Farmer Khan. Who is the new IEC chairman?
There is yet to be any IEC chairman as of now. Actually, the vice chairman is still at the helm of affairs. He is the one stepping in for the chair for now, as we wait to have an appointment.
Okay.
But for now, there is no chairman.
There is no chairman. All right. Thank you, Pamakan Khan, for talking to us on QTV this morning. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
So we hope to engage you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Julde, this is all we have for today. We'll be back here again tomorrow.
Tomorrow, inshallah, for another edition.
Until then, bye.